Hello, everyone.
Ooh, we are here, but just barely. Here we
You
go.
got me coughing right from the start.
I can't do anything funny today because laughing causes the problem. So, anyways, let's get to it.
Hi, we're Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Canucks.
Welcome to Banter on Board, our new podcast. This podcast is recorded every Sunday afternoon if you want to join us live on YouTube. If Bruno's decided that it's been too many days since he's been on a live, that he needs to
He'd like to say hello to everyone.
He'd like to make an appearance, it seems. Yes. Whew.
Well, happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you're all feeling well and doing a little bit better than we are. If you've been following along on our journey, we've came home from our MSC cruise. Mr. Canuck got sick the last day or so on it, and he nicely shared his germs with me. So we've both been pretty ill this week, to the point that Mr. Canuck was in the ER yesterday and has been diagnosed with pneumonia. And the rate I'm going, I might be making a doctor's appointment in a few days. So that's been our challenge. But we're happy to be home, and we're happy to be with you all today. And I hope everybody's having a great weekend.
Cheers with our hot chocolate that keeps our throats nice and soothed.
Yeah, cheers, everybody.
With our new princess cups. And the hot chocolate was a gift, actually, on the group cruise.
It was, yeah. Kim and James gave us a care package with Ghirardelli chocolates, and hot chocolate was one of the things in there.
So we're hoping to get through the hour. We're going to play it by the ear. We'll see how we're feeling. If we have a coughing fit, so we leave the room or bad stuff happens, we're just trying to deal with it all. So very unusual for us. We very rarely come back from a cruise or sick. So
yeah, we have to be very thankful because we've done a lot of cruising, as most of you know, and this has been definitely the sickest we've ever returned from one. This is a new experience for us. Thankfully, it's a new experience, but I know a lot of people have been dealing with the same challenges that we are right now.
Yeah, and thankfully, I didn't start feeling sick until literally the very last evening of the MSC cruise.
Right.
So luckily, it didn't really ruin our cruise vacations until the very end, at least for me. For no one else, it did.
Yeah.
And some of the other family has now managed to get sick as a result too. So
unfortunately, that's been it's one thing for the two of us, but we felt pretty bad when we gave it to our daughters and our grandchild. And it's going throughout the whole crew of us, unfortunately. Yeah.
So the good news is I have my taste buds back. I've been able to taste anything since I left the MSC ship until just this morning was the first time I could taste something. So the last thing in my food memory and my taste memory is MSC food. So
oh wow, there you go.
Yes. So we're sick. I'll blame MSC for that. But more on that. We're going to talk about MSC today and our cruise and our experience. It was a much different experience when we had the very first time on MSC.
It was, yeah. Unfortunately, it was.
But anyways, our Patreon community, very excited that it's a slow kind of thing that grows eventually, and people support it and get extra content with it. And recently, it's just kind of taken off for us. It's been really exciting to see this new community grow, and it has different levels. Everybody can you can just support the channel with a small amount, or there's bigger amounts that have higher rewards as far as early content. A good example is our first video of the group cruise, of us getting to the group cruise and surprising some people at a hotel one night. That's already out to the patrons, but that's going to be coming out to all of you on Tuesday. I think we're going to release that new video. So yeah, so if you want early access to the content, check out our Patreon and help support the channel. And
thank you for all the wonderful support we've received from our patrons. We are just humbled and feel so privileged by the amount of support that we have for our channel and what we have been trying to do, which is have a positive cruising experience and sort of pass that on to you guys. And we're so thankful for our patrons. We have some of the most loyal followers and supporters out there, and we appreciate it so much.
For sure. And we do stuff like the group cruises and different get-togethers. We have special Patreon events and stuff. So it's kind of a nice small community that we can engage with even more on a more one-to-one basis than the 10,000 subscribers we almost have now on YouTube. So, but saying that, we still try to comment on every single one of your comments on YouTube. We've stuck with that throughout it all. So, so if you do have comments on our videos or questions, we're still going to engage on YouTube and let you know. We have our Facebook group as well.
Please comment away on YouTube, because that helps our channel a lot. That supports it. The more comments we have, the more YouTube sort of promotes our channel, and that helps us to be seen by other people. So the more you comment, the better for us.
For sure. And where are we next? Oh, trivia.
Trivia.
So this one is for Mrs. Canuck. Thought I put her to the test, and
Oh,
she's
shoot.
feeling so good, and she's so bright.
Yeah, that's a great way. Let's do a cognitive test when you feel as sick as I feel
I'll let
today.
you phone a friend,
Yeah, I might have to.
and the friend might be on
I
here.
don't have my cell phone. Okay.
So you may have to
Okay.
speak out to a friend here.
Okay.
And you might have a certain friend actually is watching already today that might know the answer to this. I was saying to you, what ship have you sailed on that has the highest space to passenger ratios of all your 40 some odd cruises? What ship do you think has the highest ratio of space to passenger, meaning that the least crowded it is on the ship?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I even made multiple choice, so you didn't have to think of all the ships. So do you think it's the Carnival Paradise, which is the first ship we ever sailed on, the Liberty of the Seas, the only Royal Caribbean we've ever done, New Amsterdam, probably the smallest hull in America we've done to date, or the MSC Seashore, the one we just got off? Now, would you like to phone your friend or not?
Yeah, can I phone multiple friends? But I'd like to phone my friend and say, Scott, please. Scott is saying Liberty.
It's interesting that Scott says Liberty.
See, my first instinct was New Amsterdam, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. It depends.
James and Kimmy Cat are saying Liberty too.
It depends what you consider capacity. So I've been going through and making some of these charts up. Scott has inspired me to do some cruise ship math. And there was what they call double occupancy capacity, which is every cabin having 2 people. And then there's maximum, which means that those cabins that have 3 or 4 beds in them, they would be filled. So where is that balance?
Right.
What do you really consider? And the reason I think that's a valid question is because if you look at something like, say, Holland America, that typically is an older crowd, then you're not going to have 3 or 4 kids in a cabin with you, right? So you're not going to use a lot of those extra spaces. It's going to be mostly couples or singles.
There was a lot of kids on the seashore.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and what I'm trying to say is probably a Holland America ship's close to double occupancy all the time.
Right.
Disney, great example. Their ships supposedly only hold 2,500 people.
Right.
But they actually hold 4,000 people if everybody brings kids. So I bet that they're closer to the 4,000 a lot of times than they are the 2,500. So I'm throwing it back to Scott saying Liberty would be right if you use double occupancy.
Okay.
But when you don't use that, when you use maximum capacity, and Royal Caribbean has a lot of those cabins can hold 3 or 4 more people in it.
Right.
So that means that double occupancy number gets skewed. So I don't have that as being the answer is what I'm saying.
So am I right? Is it New Amsterdam?
You were right.
There you go.
But what's really interesting, and the reason I put this question in there, is that the 3 cruise ships that we have coming up this year that we have booked right now.
Yes.
So the Holland America's Volendam, the Queen Elizabeth, and the Sun Princess, all of their ratios are better than any ship we've been on.
Wow, really?
There you go. So that's really exciting for me.
That's exciting.
So I thought you would find that.
Especially after just getting off the seashore, because that felt crowded.
Yes, Seashore was not a good ratio. But we're going to talk about that real soon. We're almost there right now. So anyways, that was the trivia question. It kind of leads into that conversation about ratio of space on a ship. And so Sun Princess is a big ship, but those ratios look decent. So I'm really, really curious to see how that's going to play out. And of course, the Volendam is a very small ship, so it should feel hopefully small.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, but New Amsterdam. But so if you think about all the ships you've been on, does that sound right? The New Amsterdam has more room, less crowds than most other ships you're on?
So I would have gone to ones that you didn't have on the list, but that's probably because we sailed at them when COVID was just some COVID controls were still in place, and so we were sailing with them at 50% and 75% capacity.
Yeah, you can't consider
and so
those.
That skews my brain, right? Because I mean, Rotterdam, when we were on it, was only sailing at 50% capacity. It was wonderful, guys. It was absolutely wonderful. There was never a lineup. There was never a crowd. You never had to worry about getting a chair anywhere.
I'm going to do the math on that one day.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to figure out what the capacity would have been when we were on the Rotterdam and see what that ratio is and see how that fits in.
Yeah.
Because that might be the best.
Because we did get an email from a couple that just got off the Rotterdam, and they said, that they watched our videos again, and they were like, okay, it's pretty different compared to when we were on it, because we were on it with 50% capacity compared to now where that's not in place. Mm-hmm.
So comments and questions of the week.
Okay.
Coming from YouTube, all 3 of these.
Okay.
First one just came in hours ago.
Oh.
And they're saying that we are rapidly becoming myself and my wife's favorite cruise commentators.
Commentators.
We are heading on the first Princess Cruise, and what we've done in our vlogging has added to the excitement.
Added to the excitement. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you. How kind. Wow.
I thought that was a nice comment, but it was also very fascinating because we're rapidly becoming. So we're not maybe all the way to the top yet as far as the vloggers, and she didn't use the words vloggers, commentators. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of like, are we like sports commentators?
As long as you don't consider us an expert, I'm okay. I don't like it when people call me an expert because I'm definitely not an expert on anything. I have opinions of things I like and don't and dislike, but they're definitely just my opinions.
We're no experts.
Yeah.
Not like Scott. Scott's an expert. Oh, so that was the first one I found. James and Kimmy Cat had the next comment. And they said they just finished watching one of our more recent videos and they loved it. Thanks for a special moment for all of us missing you and the Canucklings.
It's official, guys. If you don't know, I think we did mention it actually maybe on the live in the hotel room that we were a few times it's been brought up. People that were coming on the group cruise want to know what they were referred to since we are the Canucks. What is the group of followers that are coming with us? And so Canucklings seems to have stuck. And so you are Canucklings if you are fans and followers of the Cruising Canucks.
Whether you like it or not.
That's what your nickname is, Canucklings.
There you go. So yeah. And then James and Kimmy Cat are referring to a video that is going to be out on Tuesday that shows a special event that we did that day before we got on the group cruise. Luckily, the weather was so bad in Florida.
Luckily. It was a little disappointing. The weather was what it was.
We found a way to make the day better, and yeah, it was a pretty heartwarming moment. So definitely watch Tuesday, which is going to be the pre-cruise video to that vlog series. There won't be a letter to find, so don't be looking for a letter.
Right.
Even though people that we met that day by surprise, they were like, "Oh, where's a letter today? We want to see what the letter is." There's no letter that day.
That's true. There was no letter.
No letter until the first day when we get on the ship. So that's going to happen probably next. I think not probably. The plan is for Saturday. We're going to do a premiere video of the first day of the group cruise next Saturday. Is the plan. And the last comment is, how do you participate in the secret word game?
Ooh.
So surprisingly, I know a lot of you that play it already and watch the lives already know the answer to this. But pretty well, you watch every video. You watch for a letter in every video. Once you have all those letters and locations, you form a secret word or phrase when we did the longer cruises in the Mediterranean. Moving forward, hopefully it'll just be a word. And when you find the word and location letters, then you send it go to cruisingcanucks.ca or cruisingcanucks.com, either one will work. And you'll see a button there you can push to submit it, and you enter. And if the contest isn't open, you won't be able to enter anything. It's only open for a week after the cruise vlog series ends. And then after that, we announce the winner.
That's right.
So, and all that stuff's also on the cruisingcanucks.ca website. There's more details there that you can find for the rules. But in a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for letters, look for the colored side of the letters.
Oh, yeah. Always the colored side. We're not going to give you the black and white.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe we'll have to get new custom-made letters.
Oh, gosh. He never stops, guys.
Something for you to do after you finish writing on the ping pong balls.
Yeah. Right.
That's all the comments, and now it is time. I need a sound effect. No sound effects.
You can tell the medicine's working for him, right?
Let's talk about MSC.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm drinking right now. Wait for you to say the first words about MSC before we get into it.
Go.
I'm likely not looking at booking the Seashore ever again in my life. And MSC is a cruise line. I'm kind of not sure. I'm still curious about their smaller ships. I really am. We're also a little curious about how MSC works in Europe compared to North America. So we're not putting them on a cruise pause like we did with Carnival.
I just have to say, we did the Seashore side in September. We did the Seashore last week, the end of February. There couldn't have been two drastically different experiences. It was amazingly different. So what we experienced the first time, a lot of people said to us, "Oh, you're very lucky. That wasn't our experience." And what we're experienced this time, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, yeah, that's what we're sort of used to with MSC." So that's disappointing. But yeah, we really struggled on this cruise. And the biggest things that we struggled with would be eating venues, for sure. So this ship compared to the seaside, so the Seashore, they took away the extra buffet that they had on the seaside and they added more cabins and there's more people there and you're down to one buffet. Trying to get a seat in that buffet is near impossible. Trying to get food in that buffet was almost as difficult. The biggest lines in my whole life that I've ever seen on a cruise ship buffet.
Yes.
Would you agree?
I would. And yeah, just to clarify, the Seaside is 2 ships newer than or older than the Seashore, and they're kind of the same class. There's a slight change because there's 1 additional deck actually on the Seashore.
Okay.
But it's probably an extra deck full of cabins. I'm sure. But there's 500 more people on the Seashore than there is on the Seaside. But as Mrs. Canuck said, 1 less buffet. So they've added people, taken away eating venue capacity. And before we get into the details of the buffet and where the challenges were, just to frame things for you, if you're on the Seashore and you're not part of the spa package club or the yacht club, the only place you can eat
is the buffet.
Especially at lunchtime. And unless you're at sea, but let's consider it a port day. And the same thing for your breakfast. And it is chaos. So
on sea days, we did try to eat in the main dining room for lunch because we knew that the buffet was a hot mess. And if it could be worse, it was worse.
Yep.
We went through the whole meal. It took us almost 2 hours to get lunch one day, and drinks that we ordered never did come. Had to ask 4 times for a glass of water. It was just, it was really
we'll try not to jump back and forth. So now you're in the dining room stuff. Let's focus on the buffet problem. So other cruise lines now, they have given you multiple options, say at lunchtime. We'll just focus on lunchtime. There's burger places, there's pizza joints, there's pubs, there are, I'm just trying to think of all the different places, sub places, there's West Indian food available some places, there's Mexican available in some ships.
So they did have specialty dining restaurants there that are extremely expensive in our opinion, but we did try to book in and couldn't even get reservations. So that tells you how busy it was. But that was for lunch.
I'm talking lunch, and especially.
But I'm trying to tell you that the Mexican place, you could go there for lunch.
Okay, yeah.
But we couldn't even get a reservation.
Yeah, but that was a paid option. I'm talking free options on the ship compared to other cruise ships that have free options. There's none of those available on this MSC ship.
Right.
There's just the buffet available. Yeah. So then when you get into the buffet, you walk in, and it is a pretty large buffet. But you walk in there at lunchtime when the buffet opens, and when most of the other people, there's 4,500 other people trying to get in for lunch, and half of the buffet is open, half is closed. Part of that might be because they're transitioning from breakfast that stays open till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But you're going to see in the videos, when you look behind the scenes, and I look behind the scenes, there's these white shades that are pulled down across the buffets. I started peeking behind them because there were so many huge lines that I couldn't get any food. I thought, what's behind these shades? Is there food actually available? Yes, there was. All the lunch food was available. They just wouldn't pull up the shades until whatever the set time is they're waiting for.
I think it was 1 o'clock for the second part to open.
And so what would happen is by noon, we would see food behind these shades. Macaroni and cheese, all these different things you'd have for lunch. And you'd see the food sitting there, and literally you would sit behind the shades for an hour. By the time they lifted that shade up and you went in to get that food and rushed up there because we'd be waiting for it to open so we can finally get some food, it would be lukewarm at best because it sat there for an hour before they opened the shade. So we thought the staff were very friendly and wonderful that worked in all the venues
and worked hard.
Like you're always running.
They're busy.
But the management is a train wreck. It is a disaster on MSC. Their officers are purely officers and stand around like this, doing a lot of this and this. They wouldn't pick up a plate off a table. They wouldn't help someone. In fact, I had 2 officers, 2 different days, barge in front of me and knock me out of the way with my camera because they had to get somewhere way more important than a guest did on the ship. I've never ever seen that on a cruise ship in my life. So yeah, the officers.
Yeah, it was a poor experience.
It was, yeah. So that was our experience in the buffet. When we finally got to the food in the buffet, I found some very interesting selections, especially breakfast, some really unique things. Like, so I was curious at all the different creative ways of different meals I haven't had before. So it was good food and interesting food.
Yeah, the quality of the food was okay.
Yep.
It was the size of the venue and the amount of people and the lack of staff to be able to clean up. There was food on the floor. The tables were dirty.
Filthy.
The staff would wash the tables and then we would have to go and rewash the tables, stuff like that. And it was mainly due to overcrowdingness, in my opinion.
Yeah, just too many people, not enough resources to keep up with the people. Like I would be cleaning the table off and getting napkins, wetting them down, washing the table down. Because we're there with our daughters and our grandchild. We don't want them to get sick. And I see officers in the corner watching me as they're eating the food that they managed to get out back before we could get food. So that's pretty bad, in my opinion, as far as how that plays out as to the level of service. So, and none of these type of things did we ever see on the seaside. So we were shocked. These two different ships run by the same company were being managed so drastically different. So different. It was we could not. It was like a different cruise line altogether. Yeah. So that was the buffet experience.
Yeah.
The dining room experience. We tried breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We
did.
had dinner every night in the dining room.
We did.
And I feel that almost every day there was another challenge in the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest challenge was usually getting the food or getting a server, again, leading to the whole understaffed, overpopulated as far as
the other thing MSC is still doing, like Carnival is doing, trying to get everybody to use their phones to look at the menu. And I find that very frustrating because it doesn't all show up in your phone and you're scrolling and everybody's there. And so we've always asked for paper menus, always has. And that was a huge challenge with MSC. So the first night we went to the dining room, there's 7 of us at the table. I asked for paper menus for the table. They brought us one after around a 10-minute wait. And then that proceeded to continue to happen the whole time. We had the same service the whole time, so they knew we wanted paper menus, and we'd be lucky if we get one. And it probably slowed down our service by around a half an hour because of that. So I think they were trying to make the point and trying to get us to give up and just use our phone, but it was pretty frustrating for sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't because we were on an environmentally conscious ship and they didn't want to have the waste of the paper.
Papers in our cabin every night, multiple papers of advertisements and things like that.
Yeah, it never ended with paper in the cabin. So many pieces of paper that I wish they would have used those papers to make menus for me to have at dinner time. So
for sure. So
yeah, it was a little frustrating going back to we thought was a COVID type of cruising thing where they didn't want to be sharing and touching the same things, and we're like it was in Carnival right after COVID. Yeah. So yeah, that was very frustrating, and the fact that the staff didn't recognize your patterns of behavior and kind of automatically meet your needs was a little off
every
as well.
Single night, including the 7th night of the cruise, I had to ask for a
paper menu every night. Yeah. And other challenges. Coughing fit time. Other challenges we had was timing of the meal. Like, I'm good with a meal that lasts in the dining room between an hour and a half. That's pretty normal, I think, for us on a cruise. That's a comfortable pace. You can have a conversation, nibble on something. It's okay. We were finding that our appetizers weren't coming out till 45, 50 minutes after we ordered.
We were on average in the dining room for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, we know we were with a larger group because, like I said earlier, there was a total of 7 of us there. But that's pretty long. We're not used to having to wait that long for it. So that was a bit of a challenge, especially when you're cruising with a baby. And so we did ask, can we at least get the baby's food brought earlier so that he wasn't having to wait that long to eat, because he's used to having an earlier dinner. And so they did accommodate with that. They did bring the baby's food out a lot quicker, but ours still took around the same amount of time.
And then also, our meal time was 5 o'clock, and the first seating for the shows that you had to reserve was 7:30. So we always thought we have lots of time, hour and a half, even 2 hours. We can get to the show, have lots of time to get a seat. Most nights we were rushing to get to the theater to finally get a seat because our meal took that long. That was 5 o'clock, and it was 7:30 was the seating for the theater. So that's how long meals were taking.
Yeah.
It was a long time. And not only that, the inconsistencies, just the etiquette, not a big thing for a lot of people, but like some nights there would be butter knives. Other nights, nobody would have a butter knife. Some nights there would be salt and pepper. Other nights there's no salt and pepper, or there'd just be pepper or just salt.
It's true.
The bread basket stuff was kind of hit and miss for me as well. It was
some night there'd be 2 wine glasses. Some night there'd be a whole set.
It was like the people that were setting the table were like very new to it and had no idea. Whereas this, I'm sure, is a standard procedure every single day before the dining room opens to have the table set, but that didn't seem to be the case. So again, it kind of felt like it went back to the whole mismanagement piece of how the ship's being operated. So, and those are things that, again, we did not notice on the seaside at all. So those are the bad.
Those are the bad things. The things we loved about MSC,
Yes.
we still love.
Yeah.
Their main shows we enjoyed, and they have a lot of main shows. You're not looking for entertainment every night. Every night there's something going on in the main theater, and it's generally a singing production show. One night there was a magician show. Was there something else another night? But they do a lot of production shows. They're not as elaborate as, say, what Princess does or Royal Caribbean, but there was good quality singing and good shows. We really enjoyed that sort of thing. We enjoyed their deck party when they have them. They had less on this ship than the seaside. Sorry.
Yep.
They have beautiful ships. We'll give you that. The cabins are generously large, for a cruise cabin. So all of those things we loved. I'm trying to think what are some of the other things that we really enjoyed about them.
Yeah, just the overall. A lot of cruise ships are getting away with multiple entertainment venues happening at the same time, either because of the way they're positioned or just because they're just kind of offsetting us so people can go around the ship and catch things. MSC, they're running things at the same time.
Yeah, so we liked that.
So we can choose where we want to go to our entertainment and not have to wait for it to start because they're waiting for another venue to stop somewhere else. So
yeah, so that's true. There were multiple options for entertainment in the evening, which was very nice.
And we love their private island. We managed to get to it. So we didn't mention earlier, but we did not get to the private island the first day. We had to go to Nassau. It was canceled on us, but they did bring us back the second day. So we give credit to MSC for doing that. Some ships might just skip their private island and not even try to get back there. Group Cruise Princess. But MSC, they managed to find a way for us to still get some time in the private island. So we really were appreciative of that. And
they have a beautiful private island.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed our day there for sure.
Yeah. So that was all good. The entertainment was very fascinating because there was a lot of good quality entertainment and there was lots of it available, which we like. We had the same challenge as we had on the seaside, that in the venues that aren't the main theater, that there's really no scheduling. You just got to show up at a venue and just eventually the entertainment will begin. We
really loved the Cabaret Rouge though, which was a new addition for us. They did not have that on the seaside. They had it on the seashore. Loved that venue. Spent many nights there. Probably, I think we were there at least a little bit every single night. There might have been one night that we didn't go there at the whole cruise. That's a great concept. We love it. And one of the things that we love about that is if you go in there and there isn't a performance undergoing right when you walk in, they have a little timer in the corner that tells you, and it's a countdown as to when the next show is going to start. So they have like 20-minute breaks in between the show, and the timer tells you. So that lets you know you have time to go to the bathroom, get a drink, sit down, and watch the next show. Really loved that venue. Highly recommend if you do go on the seashore to check that out, because we had a lot of good times there.
Yeah, I would say that venue elevated our cruise experience and really made the cruise for us in some ways. That after towards the end of the cruise, it started becoming a little repetitive because they didn't really rotate the entertainers in there. They had a set cast that did things there,
right? But
they were really good, and a lot of the cast did different things every night. So yeah, but it was a very fascinating venue, and definitely watch the vlogs to see what that looked like, because that was I would say my favorite spot on the ship.
Yeah, mine also.
Yeah, really interesting venue. We ran into Wendy, who was the singer that we showed singing in the main theater at the end of our seaside cruise.
She did her first main theater show by herself when we were with her on the seaside. And we were on the seashore and walked in the atrium, and I heard her voice. I didn't see her. I could hear her as I was walking in the tunnel. And I said to Jerry, "That's Wendy. That's Wendy." Sure enough, it was her singing. So it was lovely to say hi to her and catch up with her. And we were able to see her a few times.
Yep. And unfortunately, again, due to mismanagement, Wendy is not doing any main theater shows on this ship. Even though there's a diva show that she could do herself, she is in a lounge somewhere tapping a tambourine sometimes for half an hour. So that's such a waste of that talent.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that was frustrating, and we did talk to Wendy for quite a while, and she was happy to see us again, remembered us for the first time, and yes, so we were cheering her on. We said, we're going to tell everybody we can about you, because you deserve to be doing a full show somewhere.
She is phenomenal, and she will be on the seashore for the next, I think it's almost 6 months she has left on it. She just got on a couple months ago.
She's on there with her brother, and they're from Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Her brother's name is Kevin. Yeah. And he plays the piano and sings also.
Yeah. So that was good. I'm trying to think what else was good or bad. One thing that I noticed more on the seashore that I didn't notice on the seaside was a lot of advertising like through the speaker system, even all the time, announcements going on with advertisement. Before the show, there was advertisement. It was a constant barrage of like trying to get you to buy stuff and do stuff. It was like more than other cruise lines, I guess is what I'm saying. So I definitely noticed that more than I ever did on the seaside.
Mm-hmm.
All English announcements, though, for the people that keep saying that MSC has like so many multiple languages, we only ever the one language for the announcements, except when the captain would speak. I noticed that they would do like a Spanish version right after.
Yeah.
At lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of a rough look at the MSC Seaside. So yeah, it's hard to be unhappy with a cruise, because being on a cruise ship and being in the Caribbean, there's no better way to be traveling, in our opinion.
Right.
But there was just, as far as comparing other cruise lines and cruises to doing the same experience, MSC there were some spots they kind of let us down this time.
Yeah, we still had a wonderful cruise. We loved that we were able to travel with our children, and we had some wonderful experiences, made some great memories. But unfortunately, we just thought that it wasn't to the par that MSC was when we were on it in September. So that was disappointing for us, especially because we had convinced our daughters and their spouses to come and check it out with us, because we had such a good first experience. So we felt a little ownership on that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So just looking at a few of the comments here coming in as we've been talking, and Heather is saying that Dad and her have bad knees and want to find a place, but they had a tough time finding a lounger. They're very low down. There's lots available on the smoker side of the deck, but they don't want to sit there. Yeah, so we did notice. We did notice that. Yep, It was hard to find shade sometimes, only because what a lot of the ships now are doing is one side is smoking and one side is not. So if the side of the ship that is like smoking happens to be the side of the ship that's shady that day, then the only spot for people to go and sit outside, if you're not a smoker, is in the sun. So then we don't want to sit with the smokers just because we want shade. So it's a really bad orientation to figure out where the smoking area should be, in my opinion. That there should be some decks available both sides of the ship where there's like not smoking. And probably the same way, other way around. The people that are smokers, they probably don't want to be sitting in the full sun, or vice versa, either way. So there's got to be a better way than that simplistic way of approaching that problem. So Flying Frank says that MSC Yacht Club is the way to go.
Yeah. That's probably the only way you're going to see me going on an MSC ship again, I think, in my opinion.
So there is an update with that. Some of you know that we did bid for Yacht Club. And always people want to know, how much did you bid with the bidding process? We literally bid the max.
The maximum.
We turned the dial all the way as far as it would go. It was said it was an excellent bid. I heard stories online of people saying if you do that, you'll get like approved right away for your bid. We did not get approved. We kept waiting. The day of the cruise that morning, I got an email from MSC saying your bid was not accepted. I could not have done anything more and did not get an upgrade. We heard around the ships, just through hearing other people talking, that other people did get upgrades. There was upgrades available.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why my maximum upgrade wasn't accepted compared to other people upgrades, but
we don't know. But we didn't get it. We know that.
Yeah, we did not get it. So, and Andrea says the only thing that would get me on MSC again would be Yacht Club.
Yeah. Free Yacht Club. Yeah, I hear you. I agree.
And Rose, who is
Carol Frank,
is saying that food sitting that long is unhealthy. Yeah, like it's sitting on the steam table, so I think it's supposed to stay warm, but it definitely does not as hot as it would be fresh. Yeah. And Andrea says that what we're describing is similar to what she found on the MSC Meraviglia. Sherry is saying no MSC for me. So, and did your status on MSC afford you any perks that you found useful? I was unimpressed with my elite status on Princess to Diamond on MSC. So I guess the one thing that we liked about our perks was, well, there's two little things that we used, I would say, more than anything else. One was we get to get on the ship as soon as we get there when it's open. So we don't have to wait around. So that was a nice
priority embarkation.
And the other thing that we used was we did an hour in the spa. So it's not as good as a whole day, but
yeah, they give you one of the perks that you get as being a gold member, which is what we are with MSC, is 1 hour at their therapeutic lounges and spa area. So we did that, and that's fine. Last time when we were on the seaside, they gave us a gift in our cabin one night. We both got these like little duffel bag type MSC duffel bags. We didn't get anything this time, so I'm not sure if they've just stopped doing that or if we got missed. The other thing was when we showed up and went to our cabin to get our cards, they didn't have us as a gold status. They had us as with a white and blue card, which is signifying your first cruise with them. So we had to go to guest services when we got on board and get our gold cards, get our cards replaced for gold cards. So I don't know if that sort of fooled up with us not getting part of some of the perks that we were supposed to get. I don't know.
Yeah. Other random questions for you. Are you considering a world cruise?
No.
And just because I think we're going to do it in smaller segments if we ever do anything like that, but we're probably not going to go and do a whole year.
Right.
Just too much going on with family and friends and life that I just can't see how we logistically do it.
Yeah.
Or have the money.
Yeah. Financially is for sure.
Someone is asking, Joel and Jen are asking about people being warned, spring breakers being warned about traveling to Mexico. Have you heard whether this has affected any cruises to Mexico? Not that we have heard, although we've heard from time to time on the west coast of Mexico, there's been some cruise ports kind of iffy or canceled with activity going on there.
Acapulco and those areas.
So we have nothing in the Caribbean side.
Cozumel side.
Yeah, we've always felt safe. We did lots in Cozumel again. No problems. And we didn't hear anything when we were on the ship. And Scott's throwing some numbers at you. I think it has to do with your space ratio. So.
For Rotterdam.
There you go. That's Rotterdam at half capacity, possibly, is what he's. If that's true, then that would be probably up there as one of our higher ones for sure. So that explains why you thought that was so good. And Ruth says she likes being a Canuckling.
Thanks, Ruth.
Oh, when I'm coughing, you need to talk.
You need to use one of these cough drops. That's
and question, Serena Knits and Pearls wants to know if we will be releasing some Proud Canucklings merchandise.
Yes, that is sort of on my list when I'm healthy enough to do, is to get in that website and try to get some more merchandise organized and planned. And so, yes, it will happen. I'm not giving you a timeline right now, depending on how I feel in the next few weeks when that gets done. I think our highest priority right now is to try to figure out what we're going to do for announcing our next group cruise.
Yeah. But both things, once we're healthy, we're going to get those things going, as well as some new vlogs coming out. Starting this week, we're going to have some coming out. Yeah. And Kate is there saying that she hopes you feel better soon. Can't wait to see the vlogs. And Karen is saying, thanks to us for sharing. Much appreciated. We've made it through it all. We're even 5 minutes over time, so I think we'll call it there. But thanks, everybody, for listening.
Putting up with our sickness,
our coughing and everything else today. So, and we've got through it, but hopefully we'll be healthy next weekend. We're doing a special patrons video chat next weekend at some point. We're going to be doing our regular one on Sunday at 2:00 again. Plus, we're going to have a video coming out Tuesday for pre-cruise group cruise. And then next Saturday will be the first day of getting on the group cruise. So that's going to start rolling out, and we'll from there on have a couple every week. So let's call it. Let's head back to the couch, get some rest. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It's great getting back doing this again.
Yes, thanks for watching. And remember to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button and make as many comments as you can in the YouTube comment section for us.
Okay. Bye, everybody.